Good evening and hope your week has gotten off to a good start. And let's have a look at how the news has shaped up this Monday.
Tonight, the busted car registration syndicate driving a wedge between police and NTSA.
My friend, Mr. Njao, the DG, NTSA, was supposed to be here.
NTSA boss snubs handover event with police.
Plus, integrity of the BBI questioned.
A process that is supposed to be about uniting this country is taking a very clearly partisan approach.
If there is something that has dented the image of BBI, it's a conversation that divides the country between kabila hii na kabila hile.
ODM party leader pleads democracy.
Wale wote ambao wanahamaki, tulia kwanza.
And hooked on heroin, seeking a way out.
At that time, I was like I would say half dead, half alive. I was sick.
Last Chance Salon offering that life-saving fix.
Also tonight,
sisi tunataka watu wakufe sana, lakini ni ile tu unakuta tunawasaidia pia. Ukienda ushaenda.
Earning a living from the dead. The thriving coffin business in Meru.
Live from the Nation Centre, this is NTV Tonight with Smriti, Vidyarthi and Mark Masai.
Thanks so much for joining us on this Monday night. Our sign language interpreter is Flora Atieno. To our top story, the Inspector General of Police, Hilary Mutyambai, wants the National Transport Safety Authority to provide law enforcers with key information to facilitate the weeding out of illegal vehicle registration cartels.
However, an apparent friction between the road safety watchdog and the police is likely to create a roadblock in a fight against the multi-million shilling syndicate. Satolale begins our broadcast.
Friday's arrest of 3 suspects in Nairobi's Ngara area, including an NTSA staff member, caught red-handed by detectives hacking into the National Road Safety Authority network systems, once again puts the road safety watchdog on the spot. In a bid to end the recurring menace involving illegal importation, declaration, licensing and registration of vehicles that's executed by a well-coordinated syndicate, which includes some NTSA staff, the police are now taking charge.
We are engaging them to provide us with more facilitation as a regulator to enable us to do this job better and to meet the expectation of mwananchi.
This, however, may not be easily achievable by the law enforcers. There's an apparent rift between the NTSA and the police. The 2 state agencies have been battling fiercely to regulate road safety in the country ever since the NTSA was established through an act of parliament in 2012. The NTSA moved in to regulate road safety following numerous complaints by motorists of police bribery on the roads. But following an increase in road carnage, President Uhuru Kenyatta ordered the NTSA off the roads in 2018 and declared that the police take over its mandate, a move that was seen as a win by the law enforcers.
Maofisa wote wa NTSA ambao wamekuwa mabarabarani, hawa wote sasa warudi, kazi ya traffic iwachiwe polisi.
The NTSA was reduced to managing the registration and licensing of motor vehicles under the Transport Information Management System, TIMS. On Monday, newly appointed NTSA Director General George Njao snubbed the transfer ceremony of 38 NTSA vehicles to the police, an indication of the discord.
My friend, Mr. Njao, the DG, NTSA, was supposed to be here.
In 2019, police arrested 19 NTSA employees in connection to an illegal number plate cloning and registration syndicate. This after unscrupulous businessmen colluded with rogue NTSA employees to infiltrate the NTSA website and fraudulently register vehicles. In total, there are at least 37 names of individuals and companies whose data was used to register vehicles fraudulently. The National Police Service is targeting about 450 vehicles believed to have been registered illegally. The recent scandal raises questions on the safety of motorist data as contained in NTSA's team's register. Seth Olale, NTV, Nairobi.
From the courts, the anti-graft court has temporarily suspended the hearing of the case against the former Finance Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and his co-accused until another case filed at the High Court by one of the accused persons, beg your pardon, and that happens to be one of the lawyers, is heard and determined.
Now, the case at the Magistrates Court will proceed for hearing on the 26th of March. So in around a month's time, Rotich and his PS, Kamathuge, were taken to court on allegations of impropriety in July of 2019. Ken Mijungu has more.
Richard Malebe, one of the dam scandal suspects and a lawyer, went to the High Court seeking the case against him to be terminated. Malebe, former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and Principal Secretary Kamathuge were taken to court over the multi-billion shilling Kimorer and Aror Dam scandal. Malebe, however, wants to be discharged, saying he acted professionally, hence should not be victimized. The High Court agreed to hear his case, consequently putting off the trial at the lower court until this case at the Superior Court is heard and determined. The Magistrate Court hopes to continue with the hearing after 30 days. The two former senior government officials, together with lawyer Malebe, are among more than 10 others charged separately for Aror and Kimore Dam projects. They face multiple counts including abuse of office, conspiracy to commit an economic crime, conferring a benefit and single sourcing for the insurance of the projects, and approving payment contrary to the law. Rotich, Thuge, Chief Economist Kennedy Nyakundi, and former Principal Secretary Ministry of East Africa Community Susan Koech, and Managing Director Kerio Valley Development Authority David Kimosop were charged with conspiracy to defraud and willful failure to comply with procurement procedures. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
Now, 2 months ago, NTV aired a special report on the plight of donkey owners across the country and of donkeys, highlighting the extensive damage caused by the donkey skin trade and the export of donkey meat to the Chinese market.
Today, the government has taken action. It has ordered the closure of all the 4 donkey abattoirs in the country within a month.
Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya gave the directive while addressing a section of the donkey owners who had camped outside his Kilimo House offices in Nairobi, demanding the government's intervention.
Zainab Ismail, who actually did that documentary 2 months ago, is on this new development.
On the 22nd of December, NTV aired Hideous Burden, a special report on the cries of donkey owners across the country, who for the past several years have had to bear the brunt of a ruthless business. Women taking on the burden of the beast of burden.
Punda ni mama. Kwa ajili kasi ya punda ni kama ya mama tu.
After months of sustained effort seeking the closure of the donkey abattoirs, their cries have finally been heard. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya was forced to give audience to the peaceful protests by the donkey owners whose voices echoed across the city.
Umekuja tu kulia juu ya uchungu tu ya funda, hakuna kitu ingine. Mimi tumepotesha funda 4 na ni si kukufa, ni mtu ndio umeiba, sijui watu ngapi ndio umepeleka hiyo funda. Nakaa tuna taabu. Sisi kama serikali tumesikia na tumepata malalamiko mengi, sio ati ni hawa tu wamefika siku ya leo. Hata mkutano wa NDICC wa wiki iliyopita nilipeleka hiyo hoja huko na kauli kakatwa ya kwamba lazima tusimamishe hiyo biashara ya kuchinja punda.
A report by the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization revealed that Kenya was slaughtering donkeys at a higher rate than the national growth rate of 1.4%. The latest census report placing the donkey population to about 600,000 from the 1.8 million just 10 years ago. The increased demand for donkey hide to manufacture Chinese traditional medicine had led to unregulated slaughter in the 4 abattoirs that were licensed between 2016 and last year.
Hiyo policy ya kutumia punda kama mnyama wa kupeana nyama, kumchinja, ilikuwa ni policy ambayo haikuwa imefikiriwa vizuri. Kwa hivyo tunawaandikia wale wanahusika katika hiyo biashara ya kutengeneza bidhaa kwa kuchinja punda wafikirie biashara ingine. Tumewapea mwezi moja ya kurekebisha hizo slaughterhouses zao siwe ni slaughterhouse kuslaughter wale wanyama tumezoea.
CS Munya noted that the benefits of rearing donkeys outweighed trade in its products, adding that the abattoir owners will have to transform their business to more sustainable activities.
Punda si mnyama wa kupeana wa kukuliwa. Naelewana? Yes. Katika mila sasa hapa. Kwa hivyo inaenda kinyume kwa mambo mengi kukubali biashara ya kuchinja punda.
Zainab Ismail, NTV.
Well, abattoir workers may not be happy, but that really is a big win for donkey owners and donkeys themselves as well, and impactful journalism too there by Zainab Ismail.
Yes, and kudos to her and the team that made this story possible. Perhaps a bit more on the treatment of these same beasts of burden across the country, because there's a lot of mistreatment, and you've been on that particular case as well.
Most definitely.
All right, let's get to the politics of the day now. And ODM leader Raila Odinga has defended Narok Senator Ledama Olekina against a barrage of attacks from politicians allied to Deputy President William Ruto. They have accused the senator of inciting the Masai against other communities in Narok.
Well, Raila says that Ledama spoke from the heart, and that was the purpose of the BBI as the country seeks a solution to long-standing sources of conflict. NTV's senior political reporter Kennedy Morevi has the details.
The burial of Joseph Irongo, father of Murang'a Senator Irongo Kang'ata, was the setting of a showdown between MPs allied to Deputy President William Ruto on one side and opposition leader Raila Odinga on the other. They chided him to reprimand leaders who made inciting remarks at BBI rallies. Training their focus on the BBI Narok rally on Saturday, the MPs led by Senate Majority Leader Kipchumba Murkomen hit out at politicians they say are diverting the course of the BBI agenda and now using it to fuel animosity.
If there is something that has dented the image of BBI, it's a conversation that divides the country between Kabila hii na Kabila hile.
Why I find it hard to join some of these meetings is because there are people who are using those avenues to insult other people.
Their message is in sync with a subtle bashing of Raila and the rallies he has led so far.
When somebody stands on a podium and says that Uhuru stole the election and that is why the country is in chaos, I cannot be party to such discussion.
The process that is supposed to be about uniting this country is taking a very clearly partisan approach. It's being built as a campaign team for some people.
Let us have a democratic conversation. Murkomen, tutakuja Eldoret. Na nyinyi mtapata nafasi vile vile kule kuongea mambo yenu. Sema ni yote. Sema ni yote. Hakuna mtu anazuia kusema.
The Ruto-allied MPs are unhappy with remarks by Narok Senator Ledama Olekina about non-locals going back to their places of birth to seek elective positions. They say the comments are in bad taste and undermine the strides the country has made to foster unity.
We as the leaders of Mount Kenya, we are not going to take it kindly ya kwamba mtu anachukua microphone anasema watu watarudi kwao. Ati hii shamba alinunua hakununua kwa njia mzuri.
Si kuunga mkono BBI, Ledama Olekina ambie Wakikuyu wangu huko Narok murudi kwenu Murang'a.
Watu wanasema ati Wakenya wanatusiana, wanaweza kabila. Hakuna. This is how we can build a strong foundation for democracy. Manake wewe sasa ile unazuia yeye mtu aseme ako na hii chuki ndani yake. Wacha kohoe. Tutatafuta dawa yake.
Kama kungewezekana tukuwe na summit ya hii BBI. Na ningependekeza rais akuwe katika hiyo summit, akiwa chair wa hiyo summit, na makamu wake akiwa makamu wa rais, bwana prime minister akuwe hapo, bwana Kalonzo akuwe hapo, Musalia akuwe hapo, so that at least we use that to bring the people together.
They spoke at St. Joseph the Wakamombi Catholic Church in Murang'a, where Raila once again took time to explain to the people of Mount Kenya that his handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta was never about the 2022 elections. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV.
Elsewhere now, hooked on heroin and condemned to a life of addiction, many coastal women chained to the momentary high of a fix regret the moment things went out of hand. They have nowhere to turn, and they also live a life of misery and eternal regret.
But as we found out, the lucky few are getting a shot at the last chance salon in Mombasa. Our health reporter Eunice Omolo has been to the coastal town and takes us to a place of manicure, pedicure and addiction cure.
Mombasa is famous for its sandy beaches and majestic palm trees that spring from the ground and tower over everything around them. But away from the leisured life at the coast, the sweet melodies of the coastal conga and the enveloping warmth of a welcoming town lies a dark side, often hidden from public view and glossy brochures. In the alleys and back streets of this coastal gem live thousands resigned to the gloomy life of drug addiction. Naima Said is an unlikely face of the grim reality that is addiction to heroin. Her pathway into this world followed a well-written script that started off through affairs of the heart. A love dalliance with a drug-den lover led her down this treacherous path. She bonded with her partner over heroin. It was her way of showing him that she trusted him, that she liked him, and would walk to the sunset with him.
And I knew it's this man calling me back with his free heroin. But it wasn't just free heroin, it was free poison, free death passport. That man was like, okay, he knew he was using me, but his words, it was like he was helping me. So rather than going out and struggle on the road and the streets with the cold, I'd rather be with the drug baron so he could use me when he wants and he could give me heroin. So I stayed with that man for 5 years.
Naima's story would probably have turned out different had she not had such easy access to a banned substance. Yet here at the coast, where the blue waters of the Indian Ocean give way to undulating hills, chalk-white villas, drugs are some sort of a common currency.
Then the supply reduction, it is out of our hand, because if we say this is the targeted area and we are not maybe focusing on it, us as a community, we are working on the demand reduction. And we've been having a lot of voices because heroin is not planted in Kenya, but it's available. It is easier today to buy heroin in the streets of Mombasa than to buy sugar from a supermarket.
Despite its easy availability, chasing down the next fix for women is still a tall order and costs more than just money.
With women drug users, unlike their male counterpart, that will hustle and get money for their next fix meaning their next usage of heroin. But for women, it was very difficult for stealing or running around. So they had to, the most stigmatizing part was selling their body, because they had to exchange sex for a sachet of heroin. So on a day, they will tell me, like, I have to have like multiple sex partners, but an average 6 partners per day, they'll even be forced to sleep with like 10.
It's 200 per one sachet, and one sachet is not enough for a day. I have to get like 5 to 6 sachets a day for me to satisfy myself or cure myself for that day.
The next fix could be the last.
At that time, I was like half dead, half alive. I was sick. I was like, you could look at me and get scared. My skin changed, everything.
According to the World Health Organization, almost 11 million people inject drugs globally, and 2 out of every 10 people who inject drugs are women. While data on heroin users in Kenya is limited, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has warned that heroin addiction appears to be on the rise in the country, particularly along the coast, and women are increasingly getting hooked. The National AIDS and STIs Control Program estimates the number of women who inject drugs in the country at about 2,405. More ominously, about 15% of all people who inject drugs in the country are women. That is an interesting piece of information because drug abuse has traditionally been regarded as a preserve for wayward boys and confused men. Studies have shown that girls and women start using injectable drugs between the age of 11 and 17, and their male sexual partners mostly introduce 7 out of every 10 to the drugs. Desperate for solutions, some women are slowly walking the shameful yet courageous journey from the darkness by joining support groups such as these at the Meru Rehabilitation Center. But not all find these places favorable or welcoming. Nearby, in downtown Mombasa, at the Outreach Center, a new strategy is luring women addicts to seek the much-needed rehabilitation and other health services. And that strategy is in the form of a salon, which also doubles up as an outreach center.
They used to wait for us to reach out to them at their hotspot, which at times is hard. So that is why I came up with the idea of the beauty corner. So far we've seen a bigger uptake of services because they're not only coming there to beautify themselves, but as they come, we also encourage them to access clinical services.
Naima Said, who is now a recovering addict, has been on methadone treatment for 5 years now, and the first female client at this center, which earned her the coveted 001 title. The only other person who answers to that title is Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho. Naima is tasked by the organization to run the activities at the salon, and through her, more female drug addicts have come to the clinic to seek rehabilitation services.
I start looking for clients, those who have come to hospital to get free meals. I look for the girls who are addicts, and I call them and I talk to them. I advise them, I want to show you something beautiful. Would you like to see? Oh, sure, I would like to see. I come in a tricky way so that you can at least feel what I'm trying to make you feel. So I take you and I take you to the bathroom, give you a soap, just take a shower, and then you come out and you see what's happening. You're too beautiful to be wasting your life. So why don't you start mad? Why don't you go to a clinical officer there and see your status? Why don't you do this and that? And I actually, it happens. I don't know how magically it happens. We find a client and she joins MAT.
34-year-old Elizabeth Sarah is on methadone treatment as well and has been coming to the outreach center for more than 3 years now in her quest to break the shackles for addiction.
Siku nyingi tulikuwa tukikuja tunapata services zingine, lakini services za urembo ilikuwa hakuna. So ni kitu ambacho ni kipya kwa macho yangu. Kwa kutufanya pia sisi tujue hatujatengwa na jamii, ambapo tutaweza kujitokeza kwa wingi na pia itakuwa ni rahisi sisi kujiweza kujibadilisha. Maana yake saa hizi mtu akiangalia kwenye kioo akijiona amebadilika, anachukua naibu kutoka kule nje na kuanza kufanya tena yale mambo alikuwa akifanya. Kwenye street kuoga ni shida, kukula ni shida, kuvaa ni shida. So ungeweza kulinganisha saa hizi na venye nilikuwa wakati ule, kuna tofauti kubwa. Kwa sababu kama huyu ndio alikuwa pia wangu, ndio alikuwa akinifuata kule maeneo, yeye mwenyewe hata saa hizi akiniangalia unaona anaweza shika kichwa changu, lakini ilikuwa huwezi kushika hichi kichwa, hizi nywele haziangaliki.
The makeover at this beauty corner at the center gives them hope and uplifts them.
Mimi nilivutiwa na waraibu kulingana na ukiangalia pale chini, kama si dadako basi ni rafiki yako, ni mtu wako wa karibu. Ukiangalia wale wanaokwenda kule chini wengi pia educated walikuwa ni wanaume. So nikajitolelea kuwa mimi mwanamke niweze kuwasaidia wale dada zetu kule chini wapate kuonekana kama wao ni wanawake kama vile sisi, kwa sababu wengi ukiangalia wako na watoto na wanaishi nao maeneo. Ukiangalia ni msichana mrembo amesoma, lakini yuko pale chini anadharaulika.
Here, the active users who are still injecting drugs are also given syringes and needles through a partnership with the National AIDS and STI Control Program as a way to reduce HIV infection among users.
Needle and syringe program is one of the HIV prevention package under the WHO, UNAIDS and UNODC. This is where the modeling trickle down also to country like Kenya to be able to prevent the HIV amongst people who use drugs.
We share everything, mostly syringes. At that time, we were not supplied with a lot of syringes. We used to go to the chemist and buy for ourselves. Some other chemists did not sell for us, others did. So it was difficult to get a new injection. You know, Coast General Hospital is the nearest hospital that is in our town. So there is a dump place where they dump their syringes, which they are already used. So we go there and collect those syringes which are used, and we washed them just with clean water, and we continue. Yeah. And also they're like in drug dens, people like, when I use mine, I hide it somewhere and I go. Someone else comes and he sees it, he takes it. So I got infected with HIV at that time, and afterwards I continued using, it came worse into hepatitis.
1.3 million injectable drug users are living with HIV, 5.5 million with hepatitis C, and 1 million with both HIV and hepatitis C. Women are 2 times likely to get infected with HIV than men. The vicious cycle of use still poses a challenge, as majority of these women who are bound to their male sexual partners sometimes lack access to the much-needed services.
Some of them are beaten. They are told not to talk to a stranger or someone else. They're not, with issues of testing, especially TB, hepatitis, HIV. It's worrying. So how did you test without me? Or how did you? So those are the things will be asked. And some of them will be told not to go into treatment. They can be denied.
At the salon and away from the domineering relationships, the women are free and can easily access these services without fear.
Because we have encouraged them to do family planning. We've provided them with different family planning options. And they have really accepted that. So most of them will go for family planning. So it has reduced the incidence of pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy.
Pregnancy and motherhood for these female users have posed a danger for their young ones. Heroin use during pregnancy can result in neonatal abstinence syndrome, which occurs when heroin passes through the placenta to the fetus during pregnancy, causing the baby to become dependent along with the mother. Elizabeth remembers how she lived through this.
Okay, kama mimi hivi nilivyokuwa nikitumia mihadarati, nimekuja nikashika mimba nikiwa katika hali ya mihadarati. Na ule mtoto pia hata alipozaliwa pia yeye ile mihadarati ilikuwa ishamuingia. Kwa sababu saa zingine mimi kama nitakuwa sijavuta alafu nimnyonyeshe, hataki. Na nikivuta alafu nikimnyonyesha ananyonya vizuri, ama saa zile mimi sijavuta pia vile napiga pia anafanya hivyo.
Some of the syndromes include excessive crying, fever, irritability, seizures, slow weight gain, tremors, diarrhea, vomiting, and possibly death. It requires hospitalization and treatment with medication, mostly morphine, to relieve symptoms in the baby. Despite many initiatives such as this salon aimed at rescuing girls and women from the yoke of drug addiction, stigma against women still poses a threat to the success of such campaigns.
Most of them, they are taken like prostitute, or they are taken like very low people in our society. So we are trying to raise that alarm and being able to say these are members of the community.
With every new coat of polish on these women, every brush stroke through their hair, they get renewed hope of cleaning up their past and stepping out refreshed and renewed.
I'm a woman, and a woman is a very respectful person in the community. You are a mother, you are a daughter, you are that girl, you are that sister. You know, you play a big role. So why should we die? Why should we waste our lives while we can recover?
Eunice Omolo, NTV, Mombasa County.
Wow, what a moving and eye-opening story that was.
And thanks to Eunice Omolo and team for bringing us the Last Chance Salon. And just some comments here as people are following the story on air. Randy, you say, thank you, NTV Kenya, just quoting something that really spoke volumes. It's easier, and I believe that was Taib, one of the directors of the Reach Out Center. It's easier to buy heroin from the streets of Mombasa than to buy sugar in a supermarket.
All right, tweet here by Matt Koech. You say, recovering from hard drugs is a difficult journey. Heroin is highly addictive and the withdrawal symptoms so serious it always gets you back to it. Pleased to see what the Reach Out centers are doing to help in the rehab.
Nita Black, you say, always love NTV Kenya, real news first and politics later. Terrified about the drug addiction story. Drug addiction is a serious mental illness issue, and Kenya has not invested in mental health, at least not in my lifetime, she says.
Brian Watanga, you say this will be an eye-opener to the drug menace that is turning many people in the coastal region to become addicts. A must-watch. Keep up the great work.
And yes, again, another echo here from Nada. Stigma has always surrounded mental illness, and addiction is not different. Drug addiction is an illness that needs treatment. And stigma only drives more people to hide their struggle. We actually have to thank those who've been courageous enough to share their story.
That's right. And Carol Radul, you say Naima is such a blessing. Indeed.
Thank you for your comments, and yes, we'll be uploading that particular one for you to follow in case you've missed a good part of it. But we take a break here on NTV Tonight at this point. Coming up.
Earning a living from death. The thriving Coffin business in Meru. Details after this short break.
Female genital mutilation is one of the worst forms of gender-based violence that is meted on girls and women worldwide. According to UNICEF, more than 200 million girls and women alive today have been cut worldwide, and 9.3 million have undergone the cut in Kenya. Another 3 million girls are at risk of undergoing the cut every year. Therefore, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta has committed to end FGM in Kenya by the year 2022. Ending FGM is the responsibility of every Kenyan. Kukomesha ukeketaji ni jukumu langu, jukumu lako na jukumu letu. Pamoja tukomeshe ukeketaji kufikia mwaka wa 2022. This message is brought to you by the Anti-FGM Board in collaboration with UNICEF Kenya.
Your multi-bet is only trying to hit the bullseye. Oh, you lose one match, but only in Mozart. Mozart Refund, lose one game, get your cash back. Make a decision. Terms and conditions apply.
New Blue Band Peanut Butter. Made with 100% pure peanuts. And a good source of omega-6. Grow healthy and happy kids with New Blue Band Peanut Butter.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth, causing that discomfort. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne to their patients. It's able to get inside the tooth and calm the nerve of the tooth down. And the proof's in the results. It works.
To the out-of-framers, the turtleneckers, the fringe growers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone. It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt, and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel. Join the millions that have switched to Dettol Even Tone, now also in pomegranate fragrance, a healthier skin for an even better you. Brought to you by the Kenya Consortium of Medical and Health Professionals. Dettol, be 100% sure.
For one day only, get up to 50% off on the Dettol range with free shipping only on the Jumia Super Brand Day. Enjoy this great offer only on the 27th of February 2020.
My friend, how dare you try to park that toy car in the only remaining parking space? Where did you expect me to park my beast? You should know people and respect their worth.
Na kila room ukiingia, fanya usafi kabisa, kung'are.
Sawa. Akia nani umza yako single.
You're trending on social media. Ko number 3.
That's not enough. Pass me that phone. I need to call that young boy called ex-Christian Deal. He can use his fake followers to make me the #1 trending topic.
Get this beautiful property for only 150,000 Kenya shillings for cash buyers or 175,000 Kenya shillings for installment buyers. Join us for our site visit on 29 February 2020. SMS plot to 21595 for more information.
Welcome back. The economy might be ailing, but it's not apparently all bad news for everyone.
A growing number of traders in Meru have turned their attention to making coffins, which are in demand.
And as Brenda Wanga reports, the traders are making a killing.
At the heart of Meru town, different kinds of businesses are thriving. However, competition is heating up in a most unusual business venture. At just about every street and corner, you will encounter shops selling man's final resting home, coffins.
Hii kazi imevutia watu wengi. Aswa Kenya yetu kitu ikitokea na watu waone inafanya vizuri, watu wengi utaka kufanya sana.
Nimerukante kuko na competition mingi sana, ndio maana kuko na duka mingi za masaduku.
Serikali inasema kuna crisis ya kansa. Na yunga mkono kwa sababu watu kufa hapa Meru sana.
In just this town, there are over 30 coffin shops and all are reporting good returns.
Jeneza ya pesa kidogo kuna ya 5,500, hiyo ndio jeneza ya bei ya chini kabisa. Na pia unapata hata jeneza ya 100,000, pia hiyo iko.
The businesses are not just good for the owners, but are also offering employment opportunities for job seekers. Jacob Wasike has been making coffins here after relocating from Kakamega in search of greener pastures.
Ila nafaidika hapo kwa masanduku sana, na nisaidia napata do, najisaidia kwa maisha yangu, sioni ugumu wa maisha, juu niko na kazi.
The business owners say while they appreciate the returns of their investments, they are not overly enthusiastic about the source of that business.
Sisi tunataka watu wakufe sana, lakini unakuta mtu amekufa. Kama mimi nimepoteza baba yangu, nimepoteza shosho yangu na watu wengine wa familia, sio kusema ninafurahi, lakini ni ile tu unakuta tunawasaidia pia. Ukienda ushaenda, sasa utasaidiwa tu vile hiyo mambo itaisha kwa mpangilio bila watu kusumbuka.
That notwithstanding, they insist that they will keep on providing the much needed service and taking home a tidy pay off for venturing into a business that was once dreaded. Brenda Wanga, NTV.
Oh my goodness.
Just making a killing.
Yeah, didn't think that they actually do that. Get in there too. Anyway, a key suspect now in the China Roads and Bridges Company construction site land saga, located near the Nairobi Inland Container Terminal in Nairobi, failed to appear in court to take plea.
The prosecution now wants the court to issue an arrest warrant against the suspect, who together with his co-accused were charged for fraudulently entering into a lease agreement with a China state-owned construction company.
Seth Olale reports.
Ahmed Rashid Jibril, who was charged together with Farah Ali Muhammad at facing 6 counts of fraud in court. They're accused of fraudulently acquiring a parcel of land measuring 3.18 hectares valued at about 150 million shillings. The two are also accused of fraudulently entering into a lease agreement with China Roads and Bridges Company. The first accused person in the fraud case, Ahmed Rashid Jibril, failed to take plea before Principal Magistrate Bernard Ochoi after failing to appear in court. Principal Magistrate Bernard Ochoi directed the parties to appear before the trial court on Monday for further direction. The second accused person in the case, Farah Ali Muhammad, was denied his passport by the court after requesting to travel to Canada. Documents filed in court revealed that Jibril and Farah forged ownership documents and leased the land to the Chinese contractor. Attempts to have a company by the name ARG Capital, whose directors are said to be closely related to a senior government official, be enjoined into the court proceeding, were futile after its application was declined by the court on the grounds that its directors had allegedly engaged in fraud. Seth Olale, NTV.
To another big case, Crispin Odipo, the second director of Pizzel Company Limited, which was allegedly used in the military supplies scam, has been charged with 3 counts of conspiracy to defraud, obtaining money by false pretense and forgery in an unrelated case.
Appearing before Senior Resident Magistrate Kennedy Cheruiyot, the accused is said to have been involved in fraudulent deals in September of last year. In the first account, he conspired to defraud Mary Cherono a sum of 10,705,000 shillings at Standard Chartered Bank, Samir Business Park branch.
On the second count, the accused is said to have conned Cherono by falsely pretending to be in a position to award her a contract by the United Nations office. On the third count, the accused is said to have forged a United Nations contract.
The accused was given a cash bail of 400,000 shillings or a bond of 500,000 shillings. And the case will be mentioned on the 3rd of March. Elsewhere around the world, Eric Kabendera, the Tanzanian journalist who was jailed for 6 months, has been freed.
Kabendera was arrested last August on charges of money laundering, tax evasion and leading an organized crime gang.
His detention provoked outrage, with rights groups demanding his release. The investigative journalist pleaded guilty to the charge of money laundering and was released on a fine of 100 million Tanzanian shillings, which is the equivalent of 4.4 million Kenyan shillings.
Many asking if this was under duress, beg your pardon. He was, however, ordered to pay a compensation fee of 172 million Tanzanian shillings, equivalent to 7.6 million Kenyan shillings, alongside 11,000 Kenya shillings for evading taxes.
Both charges on compensation are to be made within a period of 6 months. All right, we're about to take a business break, but first let's get a sense of what's coming up in the business news. Julian, hi there, what can we expect?
Well, it's the day where the much-awaited Sugar Task Force report is finally out, and there are quite some interesting proposals inside there, including the reintroduction of the sugar levy, which could actually imply that the cost of sugar would be going high. Yes, and the cost of your preferred sweetener could go higher soon, as the Sugar Task Force report proposes readoption of the sugar levy. This and more in the business news.
Melissa? Mom, it's Dad's birthday today. I'm giving him a party just like he gives me.
Nothing makes a mother more proud than seeing her child growing up. But I know that as she learns to care for others, she'll face even more germs and the risk of illnesses.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection. Just 1 cup of Dettol protects your home and family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
For one day only, get up to 50% off on the Dettol range with free shipping only on the Jumia Super Brand Day. Enjoy this great offer only on the 27th of February 2020.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because her tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities
For maximum cavity protection.
and now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
The Kisumu National Polytechnic invites the public for the second annual International Multidisciplinary Conference and Open Day on 27th to 28th February 2020 at the Kisumu National Polytechnic Hall. The theme is TVET's role in building sustainable blue economy. The aim of the conference is to occasion a stage for researchers, academicians, policymakers, professional bodies and students from all over the world to present their research results, network and build capacity in their various disciplines. For more details, visit our website or contact us on the numbers on your screen.
Your multi-bet is on its way to hit the bullseye. Oh, you lose one match, but only in Mozart. Mozart Refund, lose one game, get your cash back. Make a decision. Terms and conditions apply.
By the way, this position is tiring. Nimechoka. Who's that? Ati shosho.
Call for long at 1 shilling 50 cents to all networks.
Cartelo!
Dial star 544 hash to subscribe. Telcom, moving with you.
It is time to get down to business. Welcome. I am Julians Amboko. Reintroduction of the sugar levy, privatization of public sugar mills, and the enactment of the Sugar Act are some of the key proposals of the much-awaited Sugar Task Force report. The report was this morning handed over to President Uhuru Kenyatta, who said the government is committed to full implementation of its recommendations in a bid to revive the sector. The sugar levy will be charged on consumers so as to raise revenue needed to assist farmers to develop the sugarcane sector. Other proposed reforms include the gazettement of the sugar regulations and strict compliance with the COMESA regulations. The Sugar Task Force was established in November 2018. And that's why the government is working on harmonized regulations, which will make it easier for SMEs to thrive and graduate into established corporates. Speaking at the Small and Medium Enterprises Expo this morning, Interior CS Fred Matiang'i said the government is addressing the challenges such as multiple taxes across counties. Victor Kiprop has the details.
On the first day of the Small and Medium Enterprises Expo, the need to create a more enabling environment which allows smaller businesses to thrive took center stage, with Interior CS Fred Matiang'i promising government support in order to make devolution work for MSMEs.
The madness going on all over the place. If you carry goods from here to Kisumu, you will pay sales here, pay sales in Nakuru, pay in Kisumu. By the time you get to Kisumu, there's no business you are doing anyway. All your profit is wiped, everything is gone. Devolution is a fantastic thing. We want it to succeed, but we must implement it with our brains working.
We propose the lowering of regulatory barriers to trade that will further increase the potential for SMEs, promote standardization of trade procedures, the removal of tariff and non-tariff barriers, and the improvement of regulatory frameworks.
MSMEs are estimated to create employment for more than 75% of Kenya's workforce and contribute to about 30% of the country's GDP, but unfriendly regulations has been cited as among other factors that have hindered the growth of the key sector. And as a result, most of them fail shortly after launch.
Over 400,000 of them did not live to see their second anniversary. So the mortality of SMEs is very, very high. And therefore, the conversation we should be having is if indeed this is the kind of sector that provides the bulk of all the employment, this is a sector that clearly we as a people need to focus in and we need to support in.
Leather has been made so expensive for Kenyans, and you see most of the Kenyans, their income is not so much. And from the way the leather has been priced, it's like a luxury item, meaning for those people who cannot afford the luxury item, they will go for the cheap items from China.
The expo, organized by the Nation Media Group and the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry to seek and find solutions to the challenges facing SMEs, has attracted more than 80 small businesses.
The digital economy is creating new opportunities. So let us focus on that area, because that is a growing area, that's a growth area where we have new opportunities that can actually provide us with the employment that we are looking for.
The forum enters its second day tomorrow, with at least 5 cabinet secretaries and several principal secretaries expected. Victor Kiprop, NTV Business.
Crucial conversation there. And just remember, tomorrow it enters day 2, and we shall be having 6 cabinet secretaries on the panel addressing directly issues being raised by small and medium enterprises. Moving on, the Kenya National Highways Authority has released 120 million shillings to be used in the compensation of landowners who will be affected by the construction of Phase 2 of Dongo Kundu project. KENHA says that the now Directorate of the Criminal Investigation, the National Lands Commission and other government agencies will conduct verification processes before making the payments. The project, fully funded by the Japanese government to a tune of 24 billion shillings, will see construction of 3 bridges, Mwache, Mteza and Sunza. The 8.9-kilometer road network is expected to ease connectivity from Mombasa to South Coast. Once the project is complete, it is expected to also boost various sectors such as tourism and transport. The government is seeking to review the national cooperative policy with a view to provide clear roles of the national government and the counties when it comes to operations of cooperative movement. Among other things, the national cooperative policy will also have punitive measures for employers who do not remit their employees' SACCO deductions. This was revealed by the Principal Secretary for Cooperatives, Ali Noor, at the Harambee SACCO's 49th annual delegates meeting. The SACCO will pay its members 129 million shillings in dividends, up 71% from the 74.8 million shillings it dished out last year. Its net profit for the year clocked 100 million shillings mark, almost double the 53.8 million shillings made in 2018. The SACCO, however, says its membership in 2019 reduced to 73,000 from 76,000 the previous year.
The Board of Directors recommends the payment of 6.5 dividends on share capital and interest rebates on members' deposits at the rate of 6.75. We are also partnering with KMRC. I can inform the gathering today that we are as the shareholder now in KMRC, and we are in discussion with the Ministry of Housing to see whether we can get an allocation of the affordable housing, especially the gala and the other units which are complete, for onward sale to our members.
The national cooperative policy has already been approved by the cabinet. We are now converting it into a sessional paper. It will go through the Senate and Parliament, and then after that we are already now preparing a framework for the implementation of the national cooperative policy, working with the movement and other stakeholders.
And it's time to look at the capital and forex markets on the financial report. And that takes us to the close of business. I hand you over back to Mark and Smriti.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Now, after this short break, this is what's coming up. Mel Miendo tells us what Machakos County has been doing in the health sector.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, you get more, and now you can win.
Kwa majina naitwa Salma Salim, natoka Mombasa County, na mimi ndio mshindi wa nyumba ya Lipa na M-Pesa. Nilikuwa nimelala, nikasikia simu inalia, nikapokea. I was so excited. At the moment, option ya kwanza itakuwa kuirent. Wakenya wote wazidi kushiriki, wataweza kushinda vitu vingi kutoka kwa Safaricom.
Lipa na M-Pesa and win now. Do more with Lipa na M-Pesa.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. Panadol Extra, now with new Optizorb technology to fight multiple tough pains with 3 times more pain-relieving medicine in the first 30 minutes when you need it most. Seeing them support themselves makes any pain worth it.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, Meru, chamomile?
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Ah, Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Fit Me Foundation from Maybelline, New York. Fits your unique tone and texture. Blurs pores, stops shine. For your most natural matte. Fit Me Matte and Poreless, only from Maybelline, New York.
Runner Auction Drive. Runner Auto Selection Limited, importers of selected motor vehicles, introduces 100 newly imported cars on auction. Visit our Kisumu, Eldoret and Nairobi branches and drive away with a brand new motor vehicle at the lowest prices. 27th February, Kisumu. 28th February, Eldoret. 29th February, Nairobi. We shall also be having auctions in Kisumu every Thursday starting from 20th February. For more inquiries, call or WhatsApp 0701 777 779. Runner Auto Selection. Your choice, your success.
Prepare yourself for a new live bet experience. Top minute, boosted live bet odds. Mozart, make a decision.
NTV Tonight continues from Machakos, as the locals would say it. Well, let's just call it as it should. The Machakos Level 5 hospital made history in 2019 for successfully performing its first ever brain surgery.
Well, the hospital boasts of ultra-modern facilities, but what makes this facility tick? Mel Miendo tells us more.
The Machakos Level 5 hospital made history in 2019 for successfully performing its first ever brain surgery. After devolution, the hospital had a fully operational 6-bed critical care unit with specialized personnel, a dialysis center with 10 machines that catered for 10 to 24 patients, a cancer center, and a palliative care unit.
We have expanded our services. Initially, when I started working here up to about 4 years ago, we only had inpatient, outpatient, lab and radiology services and theatre.
The Machakos County government, through Governor Alfred Mutua, has laid emphasis on improving health services, with the sector receiving 35% of the county budget.
Anything we want as the health department, we can get it.
The county is now keen on improving the nurse-patient ratio to get to the level of 1 nurse for 15 patients and working towards the WHO ratio of 1 nurse per 6 patients.
I believe we are different than most counties. Last year, he also went ahead and employed another 85 nurses. This takes care of the nurses who are leaving the country to go and work elsewhere, because there are many of them who are leaving, the nurses who are retiring. And under UHC pilot, as a pilot county, we also got another 23 who are on contract as per the UHC.
The maternity wing at the hospital boasts of 181 beds. Mwikali Gitonga, currently a mother of 2, shares her experience.
I have 2 kids. The first one I delivered here in Machakos, and this is the second. After I got good services with the previous one, I came here back again because here doctors, nurses, the CEOs, the supportive staffs, they are very cooperative.
Every one of us, we work as a team. Then also the support from the management. If it's an agenda that we need to push forward, like we need linen for the patients, we are supported even from the county level and even from our governor.
Opened in 2016 by President Uhuru Kenyatta, this renal unit was the only one in the region at the time.
We started receiving UHC patients, that is universal health care patients, and that is free treatment. So they were quite triple the number we have.
On average, 20 patients are seen daily at the renal unit. One of them is Benjamin Kivuva, who had just finished his dialysis when NTV caught up with him.
No patients are booked. They may be many, but we book them. Like they do sessions twice a week.
It's the main waiting bay for Machakos Level 5 Hospital. This is where we receive all the clients coming in to seek services.
Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays are the busiest days for the outpatient unit, with many clients coming in during the morning hours.
On a busy day like Monday, we see almost 1,500 patients since the UHC started. And before the UHC, we used to have like 500 clients, the whole hospital.
Machakos Cancer Care and Research Center was opened in August 2019. So far, they have received about 1,000 patients for cervical cancer care treatment alone. And on an average daily basis, they receive about 50 to 80 patients.
Cancer patients who have visited this center have done so through referrals countrywide. The lab based within the cancer center offers histology and biopsy processes, screening for breast, cervical and other cancer cases.
For the mixing of our chemotherapy, we have a chamber, one of the modern equipment, to protect the pharmacists as they prepare these drugs and the staff within the unit from exposure from the fumes of these drugs. There are usually 2 pharmacists who are preparing these drugs to counter-check.
The Machakos Level 5 hospital seeks to change the perception that public hospitals cannot reach the level of privately run facilities, and the journey to get there continues. Mel Miendo, NTV.
And from Machakos, let's get to the sports desk, and one lookalike, Watson Karuma, is here to give us a latest.
Why is he a lookalike?
I mean,
say it.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, Mark, but I can tell you.
It can't be that depressing to look like me, though.
No, you looking like me, maybe.
Okay.
But I looking like
boys.
Okay. Cool.
Nice to be with you again in studio, Watson.
It's always a pleasure to be here doing sports. It's amazing, especially when we get to talk about some nice goals from our very own Michael Olunga. He was in action this weekend, and 2 spectacular goals and an assist. That's the moment of the weekend coming up after this very short break on NTV Sport.
Not Arsenal.
Molfix breathable surface developed with airsoft technology is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. you should also try Molfix.
Prepare yourself for a new live bet experience. Top minute, boosted live bet odds. Mozart, make a decision.
Breastfeeding tips for new mothers. Anticipate your baby's desires. You can anticipate their needs by watching for a few telltale signs. Get comfortable while nursing. The constant squirming and moving on your part can disrupt your baby's breastfeeding.
Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Bye diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
My friend, how dare you try to park that toy car in the only remaining parking space? Where did you expect me to park my beast? You should know people and respect their worth.
Na kila room ukiingia, fanya usafi kabisa, kung'are.
Sawa. Akia nani mzee yako single.
You're trending on social media. Ko number 3.
That's not enough. Pass me that phone. I need to call that young boy called ex-Christian Deal. He can use his fake followers to make me the #1 trending topic.
Get this beautiful property for only 150,000 Kenya shillings for cash buyers or 175,000 Kenya shillings for installment buyers. Join us for our site visit on 29 February 2020. SMS plot to 21595 for more information.
That's right. Welcome to NTV Sport. I'm Watson Karuma. Kenya's Elizabeth Akinyi will face welterweight top seed Oumama Bel Habib from Morocco in the African Boxing Olympic qualifier semi-finals after beating Ghana's Ousmana Farouza on unanimous points in the last 8. Later, Humphrey Ochieng was bundled out in the lightweight category by Morocco's Asagir Mohamed in the tournament ongoing in Dakar, Senegal. Meanwhile, Christine Ongare set up a showdown with second seed Zalia Modestine Munga from Congo in the quarterfinal after beating Burundi's Onela Havriamimana in the women's flyweight category. The victory went some way in making up for Kenya's previous losses as third seed flyweight Shafi Bakari and middleweight Rayton Okwiri both controversially lost out on split decisions. In more Day 5 action, Elizabeth Andiego faces Radi Odacinda from Mozambique in the women's middleweight quarters.
How significant will that prove to be? Samuju looking to
nirudi nyumbani bure. Yani haijawahi kuwa kwa akili yangu. Yani sijaamini kupigwa hapa Afrika mimi. Hata nyumbani kuanzia home na hapa Afrika. Afadhali nijaribu kwenye hizo world boxing nini nipata na watu tofauti zaidi ndo nipigie lakini si Afrika.
Now, Kenya's Faith Ogalo beat Florence Eldima from Chad 27-21 in the heavyweight final to become the first Kenyan taekwondo athlete to qualify for the Olympics since 2008. Ogalo, a third-year student at Kibabi University, tasted success when she won silver at the 2019 African Games, which was held in Rabat, Morocco, the same venue for her Olympic qualification. Para-taekwondo player Peter Kaban, who will try his luck in the lightweight contest, is Kenya's only other hope after Newton Maliro, Edwin Lemiso and Evelyn Aluoch failed to qualify.
That's the dream of each and every athlete in this world, to qualify for Olympics. When I get to Olympics, I want to do my best so that I don't stop there. I have to get to Grand Prix.
Well, all the best to Faith Ogalo. Football Kenya Federation, in collaboration with online betting company Betika, announced an award gala at the end of the season for stakeholders in the National Super League earlier Monday at Camp Toyoyo Grounds. This will be the first time that players and coaches from a bottom-tier league will be recognized with an aim of promoting grassroots football. Betika provides 2 sets of uniform and 2 balls to the 20 teams that participate in the NSL and an additional 100,000 Kenya shillings to help them cater for their expenses until the end of the season. This was an addition to the 750,000 shillings the teams received in 2019 when FKF and Betika announced the sponsorship deal. Let's go to England, where leaders Liverpool continue their relentless pursuit of the English Premier League title when they host that from bottom West Ham at 11 p.m. East African time.